EA Sports FIFA 20 sponsors Saturday Social.
This is Making It Pro with Ben Foster in partnership with EA Sports FIFA 20. Ben, obviously you're playing in the Premier League now, but let's take it back to where it all began, your earliest memories as a kid of football.
Wow, earliest memories. I've got two older brothers and they used to take me down the park all the time. I'm sure my mum and dad made them, but they used to take me down the park all the time. And obviously they were the older brothers and they didn't really want to go in goal, so that I ended up getting sort of lumped in goal, basically. I've always been fairly tall, fairly sort of big for my age, so it was a bit of a no-brainer, really.
So did you not want to go in goal then? Can I just get that clear? You were forced to go in goal by your older brothers. Would you have rather been outfield?
100% rather have been outfield. It's like so much more fun. There's less pressure. You get to score goals and have a good laugh. Now, to be fair, like I was always a goalkeeper, but I would play outfield as well. I remember playing for a Sunday League team. I'd play outfield and stuff. Even at the age of 16, 17, I'd play sort of left wing or left back or something like that. It wasn't until I got to about 17, 18 really that I realised that running around was actually really hard. And it was a lot easier just sort of staying in goal.
As a role model, as you and your brothers down the park, who are your heroes? Who are you trying to emulate and who did you want to become?
My heroes were always Peter Schmeichel and actually Pavel Srnicek, the Newcastle goalkeeper.
Yeah, I remember.
I used to love him. He used to make some amazing saves. But most people's from my era would have been Peter Schmeichel, absolute legend of the game, massive, bigger than life. He was everything I sort of wanted to be as a goalkeeper.
Interesting. We hear Peter Schmeichel a lot, and that without disrespecting Pavel Srnicek, he's not someone that comes up regularly. That was just someone that you were very impressed with, was it, in the era that you were growing up in?
Yeah, he's just some of the saves he used to be able to make. He was very sort of athletic, very explosive, reflexes like you wouldn't believe. And yeah, I was always just sort of taken by some of the world-class saves that he could make.
What age did you start realising that you were sort of better than your average goalkeeper and you thought you had a chance at making it professionally?
Honestly, I never, ever believed anything like that until I actually signed as a professional goalkeeper at 18. I did it a very different route to most people. I left school at 16. I've worked as a chef for 2 years and I was playing non-league football. At the time, I was playing for a local non-league team, Racing Club Warwick. We were in the Dr. Martins League, which is, I'm not sure what the equivalent of it now is, but it's probably sort of 7th or 8th rung of the ladder. Do you know what I mean? Kind of got wind that there were a few scouts coming to watch me, which meant, possibly, do you want to come on a trial, this, that, and whatever. But eventually Stoke came to see me and they made a bid for me with the club. I think it was £5,000, raising to a possible £20,000 if I ever actually played the games for Stoke City. And that was it. I was going to be signing as a professional goalkeeper for Stoke City. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I read that there was quite an interesting story actually, that it was a chance meeting that a Stoke scout had came to watch you play due to an accident on a motorway. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so I was actually playing for the youth team of the non-league team. So I was actually only playing for the youth team that night because I was still only 17 years old. And I was playing the game and he was on his way home from Stoke. The motorway was closed. The M6 as normal is a nightmare. So he got off, went the back roads through, saw the floodlights, and he was like, well, I'm going to be stuck in traffic all night anyway. I may as well stop in and have a look. So He came to watch the game and that's where he sort of saw me there. And then very, very quickly after that, I think it would have been the week or the week after, the first team goalkeeper actually got injured and he was out for a long time. So they didn't have any other goalies. So it was kind of, right, Ben, you're going to have to play for the first team. And I was like, whoa, okay, cool. And that was it. It went from there. He kept tabs on me, he kept coming to watch, and I kept impressing and doing well. And that's where it all came from.
Yeah, and you went to Stoke. Then you had 5 loan moves at Stoke, I think I'm right in saying. Well, what was that period like? We speak to a lot of players. Some absolutely love it because it gives them first-team football, and some say they really struggle moving house and home and different lifestyles and things. What was your assessment of the time when you were going out on loan?
No, I loved it. I just wanted to play football. For me, the whole point of being a professional footballer is actually playing on a Saturday afternoon. You can't ever replicate the emotions, the nerves, the adrenaline as well. When that game kicks off on a Saturday afternoon, the adrenaline buzz that you get is huge and it makes me do things that I can't normally do on a week-to-week basis. So at the time at Stoke, I wasn't playing. I was probably 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper. I'm very young at this time. You've got to remember I'm 18, 19 years old. I've got no experience. So for me, just going out and playing, I honestly didn't care where it was. I remember I went to Tiverton Town on loan to play. I went to Stafford Rangers for a couple games. Just the chance of playing on a Saturday afternoon rather than going to the game and watching the team play was massive for me.
And of course, then Man United came in for you, which must have just been incredible. And once again, it was a chance meeting, was it? Am I right in thinking Sir Alex Ferguson was at one of your games, a cup final, because his son was playing, and you impressed, and then the rest is history, really.
Yeah, we had Darren Ferguson at Wrexham. I was on loan at Wrexham, and I spent the last part of the season there. So I think I was there for about 20 odd games. We managed to get to the LDV Vans Trophy final. Obviously, Darren was playing. Darren was still a lovely player at that time, by the way. He was a central midfielder. His legs had gone, so he was just sort of sitting in midfield, but he was class. So, yeah, we had Alex Ferguson. He came to the game, and I actually remember playing the game. And on the big screen, sort of Alex Ferguson's face popped up. Obviously, he's watching his son.
Yeah.
And I played really well that game. And then I think they've just kind of kept tabs on me from there. Darren's obviously put in a good word for me and said, come and watch him. He's a decent goalie, to be fair. And it just went from there.
And of course, playing for Man United and working under Sir Alex Ferguson, what was that like? You must have learned so much. Were you ever receive an end of the hairdryer from Sir Alex?
A couple times, yeah. It was horrible as well.
Go on.
I've always say, like, anything, no matter what happens in your career or in your life, if you learn from it, then it's not a bad thing. You always need to learn from whatever happens in life. And whatever happened at Man United to me, I was at an amazing club and I got to learn so much stuff from some amazing people. Like you say, the likes of Alex Ferguson, Edwin van der Sar, those guys. The goalie coach, Tony Cote, and you learn so much from them. So even when you get in the hairdryer, you've got to understand why you get in the hairdryer. And I looked at the mistakes that I made, and I probably deserved the hairdryer, to be honest with you.
Any particular hairdryer moments you can fill us in on?
There was one.
You really remember?
We played West Ham. We were at home to West Ham, and it was Sunderland. Sorry, we were at home to Sunderland, and big Kenwyn Jones was up front for them. They played the ball into the box, to come out to punch it, and he's beat me to the header. He's nodded it in, and absolutely mullered me at the same time. I think I might have broke a rib or something, but I remember sitting on the ground afterwards thinking, "Oh, that kills." And we managed to nick a last-minute goal to equalise. And I've come in at full time, and he's gone absolutely crazy at me, like proper giving it to me. And that was not a nice experience, but that's football, I think it sort of molds you into the man that you become later on in your life. And like I say, anything that happens, it's not a mistake, it's just a chance to learn from it.
Well, look at that squad that you were part of for Man United, littered with so many great players. Who is the best player, would you say, the standout player in training?
Oh, for me, it was always Scholes, Paul Scholes. I think there's a lot of people that will say that as well. He was just the most natural footballer ever, the best striker of a ball you'll ever see. Obviously, I'm playing with the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, but for me, Scholes was just so natural. Ronaldo, you can see why he is what he is, because he works so hard. He was always the first one in. He was always the last one out. He was always working. Nothing was. It's not like he would get in and just sit down and chill and have a bit of breakfast, read the paper, watch the telly. He was always in the gym working, so fair play.
During your time at Man United, Ben, and then the loan moves to Watford, which I know that you've spoken about and said how much you enjoyed that period as well, a lot of huge praise was placed on you at a very young age. Adi Boothroyd, I read a quote where he said, "Ben is better than Edwin van der Sar and will go on to become the best goalkeeper in the world." So Alex said, "Ben will eventually replace Paul Robinson as England's number one. He's that good." Did you feel there was a lot of pressure placed on your shoulders? Because strong praise from some very important people in the industry.
Yeah, massive pressure. Yeah, I think that's the whole thing and what I'm talking about as well, where at the time I don't think I knew how to deal with that kind of pressure either. So for me, it kind of came at the wrong time. Do you know what I mean? It was lovely to hear it, but my God, is it a lot of pressure. And when you're a young, sort of very inexperienced goalkeeper like I was at the time, I just didn't know how to deal with that pressure. I didn't know how to sort of harness it and enjoy it. Every game that I played seemed to be very nervy. I just, I wasn't really enjoying my football at the time. So obviously it didn't work out at Man United at the time, but to get away from there and then to sign for Birmingham, where I could sort of almost, the pressure was off a little bit. That's when you can start to really enjoy your football. And for me, that's when you play your best football. If you look at some of the biggest players in the world, biggest names, the likes of like like even goalkeepers, Alisson, Edison, you can see they're enjoying their football. You know, they don't feel this pressure because they just don't care. They just want to have a good time. And I think for me, if you can enjoy your football, you've smashed it. You will absolutely smash it, because there's so much pressure involved nowadays that it really does weigh heavy on people's shoulders.
You had a lot of success in a short period of time in terms of trophies. You, of course, won the Championship playoff final for Watford in 2006 while on loan at United, 3-0 against Leeds. You won back-to-back League Cups for Man United. You also won the League Cup for Birmingham. So a lot of trophies in and amongst that. How did they all compare? Did you have a favourite one? You picked up some Man of the Match awards as well in a couple of them.
Yeah, my favourite will always be the League Cup win with Birmingham against Arsenal. We were complete underdogs. I think the odds were stacked completely against us. You know, I think we were 16-1 against to win the game or something. When the whistle went, I remember the blue of Birmingham fans in the crowd just going absolutely crazy, and then sprinting down towards our fans at full time, and knowing how much it meant to them was one of the best feelings. I still get goosebumps even thinking about it today. It was absolutely incredible. I think that will always be my favourite cup triumph.
A few celebrations that night then, were there?
You know what? Right, because we were such underdogs, they had nothing planned for us. They didn't
really? Not even a T-shirt or anything.
I think they even thought that we were going to lose, so they didn't even bother planning anything.
Oh no!
So we ended up going to. We managed to get like I don't know, a dozen of us or something. Went back to Birmingham. We went to Indie Bar, which is in Birmingham. So it's like a uni bar, basically. You know what I mean? It's like sticky floors and like two
I think I know it actually.
You probably will know. You look like a little uni rat, you do.
I look like a uni rat.
Yeah, so we went there, and it was a good laugh. It was a good laugh, to be fair. We got absolutely blitzed, but it was wicked.
Can I ask about what happened, if you don't mind me asking? In May 2011, you announced that you'd be unavailable for international selection. You spoke about your relationship with Fabio Capello. Can I just ask sort of the reasons behind that and what was going on in your England career at that point in time?
We were down in London. We obviously lived up north at the time, so we were down in London. And my wife rang me in the morning and said, I think I'm going into labour. I think I am. So I was like, right, cool, I'm coming up. So I went straight into the office and I was like, boss, my wife's going into labour. I need to go up. And he was like, we've got training in like half an hour. And I was like, seriously?
Wow.
But anyway, I was like, well, I'm going anyway. So I went up. I missed the birth by 10 minutes, which was a bugger, but it was fine. Everything was healthy, it was lovely, all that kind of stuff. And then later on that night, I got a phone call from the assistant manager saying, listen, the manager really wants you to come back tonight. We've got the game tomorrow. It's a friendly, but he really wants you to play the second half. And so I remember saying to my wife, like, listen, I'll get it's another cap. Do you know what I mean? I get to come and play on in the second half. So anyway, I went back down, got there for the game, sat on the bench, second half, kicks off, didn't come on at the game at all. So that for me, it was, that's nothing to do with football. That's just on a personal level. That's poor for me. That doesn't stand up. So that was it really. I kind of lost all sort of trust for the manager and the setup. So I basically said no. I'm not going to come back while that's happening. I'm not having it. That for me, it's nothing to do with football. That goes above football.
Anything that we wouldn't know about Ben Foster, the player? Any superstitions? You mentioned that you have hidden talent as a chef. Any other things that we wouldn't know about your career?
Superstitions, do not have any superstitions. They are the worst things you can ever try and have, because once you have one, you'll get 2, 3, 4, and it's never
okay.
So learn to let go of the superstitions, because it's like you're relying on something like exterior to help you out, which is complete nonsense. Just know that you've done everything you can do in training, know that you're as prepared as you can be, and let your natural ability do the talking on a Saturday afternoon. And
management, is that something that you're into after football potentially? You're doing your badges, is it something that interests you?
God, no.
Not at all, really? Okay.
No chance. No way on this earth, mate. The modern day footballer just seems to me like impossible to try and juggle and deal with. Like, they are hard work, serious hard work, mate. I have got no interest whatsoever of being a manager.
We've seen in lockdown, you've been doing a lot of isolation quizzes, and you've also been getting your Watford teammates cycling. Is that a big passion of yours as well, cycling?
Yeah, cycling's massive. I think that's something that I would really want to get involved with once I finish football. You know, I've got so many bucket list things that I want to do, so many trips I want to go, so many mountains I want to climb, massive events that I want to do. I just want to, that's the sort of stuff that as a footballer, you're very limited with what you can do, because you can't really go doing 100-mile days and then try and train later on in the afternoon, or try and train tomorrow, because it just takes out your legs so much. But it's a massive passion of mine, and I know that going forward it'll be something that I want to get involved more and more with.
Love that. Barbecuing and cycling. I learned a lot from that. Ben, you're a top man. Thank you very, very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. That was, of course, Making It Pro with Ben Foster in partnership with EA Sports FIFA 20.